honestly, the best impact I could have would be to write a song so simple that every 13-year-old kid wants to learn it. That's like the dream. I've never seen anyone burst the sides like that.
Notice how I put it in there without banging it, unlike Alex. At the end of the day, being able to do something I couldn't do yesterday, nothing better than that.
Welcome everyone to the Soundboard Session podcast with the B&T Collection. My name is Garrett, I'm your host, and today we have the incredible honor of interviewing not one, but two incredible session musicians, actually who are father and son. This is Tom and Alex Strahle. Let me give you a little bit of a bio for the viewers who might not know you. Tom is a veteran session guitarist, producer, and songwriter whose credits include A-list artists like Justin Bieber, Said the Sky, and Cody Simpson. Known for his ability to play pretty much any instrument that is relatively shaped like a guitar. Tom has played on hundreds of films, TV shows, and game soundtracks. Tom has also written tons of songs with artists and music for television. Alex, his son, is part of a new generation of guitarists defining music as we know today. As a rising session guitar player, songwriter, and producer, Alex has worked on tracks by artists such as Maren Morris, Jelly Roll, One Republic, and more. Alex, similar to his father, can play pretty much anything that looks like a guitar. I always say that because y'all have played so many instruments that are not just guitar, but I feel like any stringed instrument you guys are able to play.
I try, as long as it has frets. Well, even the ones that don't have frets.
Exactly. You got to say yes, right? So, man, I love it. Well, thanks guys for being here. I really appreciate it. We're obviously very close in kind of the Malibu music B&T world, but we're super excited to get to introduce you guys to one of the most legendary father-son session guitar duos here. So we like to always start with a few icebreakers for everyone to get to know you guys outside of just your guitar playing. Who are you as people? So I always like to ask this question. What's your favorite restaurant in Los Angeles?
That is
Being LA natives, we got to figure that out.
Question. Favorite restaurant in all of Los Angeles? Okay, I'm going with Checker Hall. It's like a Mediterranean spot in Highland Park. It's upstairs in an old Masonic temple.
Okay.
And it's amazing. Do you know where the lodge room music venue is?
Of course.
It's the restaurant attached to that.
Interesting.
And it's some of the best food.
Okay.
It's so good.
Well, we got your answer. What about you, Tom?
I like steak joints, old school, like red leather, booths and everything.
Kind of like a nicer
so
vibe.
Smitty's in Pasadena is one of my favorites. I can't pick one. I tend to go to the same restaurant 50 times in a row and then I'm never go again.
Sure, you get your fill and then you're done. All right, guys, what's the favorite place you've ever traveled to? And has the guitar brought you there, or has it been out of luxury?
The Czech Republic was my favorite place I've ever traveled. And it was for guitar. I was doing a missions trip there doing music.
Oh, wow.
So that was really fun.
That's cool, man.
Yeah.
What about you, Tom?
That's a tough one, but I really love Barcelona, and it was for fun.
We're actually, the team's going there soon, so we're going to be experiencing that. That'll be so fun.
It's a great city.
We'll need Rex later.
Okay, I got plenty.
Okay, so if you weren't doing music, what other career would you all see yourself in?
Ooh, I always wanted to be a pilot.
Really?
Yeah, that's what I always wanted. Yeah, no, I'm super into planes. I always wanted to be a pilot, and obviously these things got in the way of that. But, here we are. Guitar works.
Playing guitar. Yeah. It's secondary. What about you, Tom?
Actually, stockbroker.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting. Is there a reason for that, or just
I got it.
family?
Well, I've just always been into saving money and investing. And
smart.
When I was in high school, my stockbroker offered to sponsor me for I think it's called the Series 7 test.
Okay.
Because he said I knew more than most of his brokers did.
Oh, wow.
So,
I guess playing guitar can do more than just learn playing guitar.
Well, if you're going to play guitar for a living, you better learn how to save money.
Yeah, exactly. We're not very good at that because we have all these crazy guitars.
Temptations.
Okay, so another question. If you could jam with any musician, past or present, who would it be?
Oh, boy, that's a real...
I feel like, Tom, you knew. I could tell.
Well, I mean, I'd probably say John Lennon just because that means I get to play with John Lennon and he's no longer with us.
Sure.
Paul McCartney could still happen.
You never know.
You never know. I have lots of friends that play with him. So, so that would be not unlikely.
Sure.
But John Lennon, sure.
Incredible.
That would be awesome.
Incredible.
You gotta go with Paul McCartney. It's
just
you got
Beatles fans over here.
Oh, huge Beatles fans. Like I have so many guitar players I love, but just meeting a Beatle, that would be cool.
Pretty much created music is what we know today.
Yeah,
so.
they defined pop music.
Literally crazy.
Yeah.
So, final question on this segment: what's the craziest thing that's ever happened to y'all in a session?
What's the craziest thing?
Anything ever bizarre? If you didn't sign NDAs for it.
I rarely sign an
allowed
NDA.
to say.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, you'd be surprised how few NDAs I've
never gotten
been
one
asked
either.
to
So
sign.
yeah.
Do you have one?
No, I'm trying to think. That's a good question, but okay, most of the sessions I do, like 95% of my sessions I do from home.
Sure, okay.
And so not much crazy happens there. I'll probably come up with something while we're talking about something else.
Sure,
and it'll trigger.
Anything come to mind for you or nothing?
Oh man, there have definitely been a few
Gigs, yeah.
Gigs, yeah.
Oh, for sure.
Let's switch it out to gigs.
Yeah,
I think
gigs.
Because sessions are from home now.
Yeah. Gigs. Do you have one for
Well,
gigs?
I mean, I have a million of those. I particularly back when I was young and playing in a top 40 band.
Sure.
Actually, it was more like a funk soul band in Indiana, and we were playing lots of frat parties. So we had a lot of alcohol,
Sure.
and this one fraternity at Purdue University was an engineering fraternity, and their house.
Okay, yeah.
What's it called?
Oh, yeah, frat house.
Frat house. Yeah, it was shaped like an L. And they boarded off the L and water sealed it and filled it with water 2 stories high.
Oh my goodness.
And they were jumping off the roof. And we were on the first floor
They made a pool.
looking at the window that was water over the window. And we're thinking, if any of these windows break, we're all going to get electrocuted. And we just see these kids diving into the pool and bubbles and everything. And it was just like, and we're playing Earth, Wind and Fire songs, and
it's just like we could die.
we could die. Yeah, that was pretty crazy.
Oh my gosh. What about you, Alex?
Oh man, I had a crazy client in the studio once that was just absolutely nuts.
Sure.
Is how I'll put it, and I'm not gonna name names here.
Nope.
But it was insanity. They had 2 pit bulls.
Oh wow. Okay.
And they just let them do whatever they wanted.
in the studio.
In the studio.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, and the studio was like janky, but they had, they were like,
Yeah.
It was a whole thing, and I worked with some really cool people through that person. But man, it was those dogs are like jumping all over everything. Crazy collection of vintage guitars in the house.
Oh my goodness.
And like I'm holding this like gorgeous like '60s cherry red like double cut junior, and this dog is like jumping up and scratching this thing, and I'm just like, oh no, please get out.
Okay, now I know who this is.
Yeah. Yeah, it was. It was
So that's the end where the NDA comes in. So we're going to keep that
No, we have to keep it down.
That's amazing.
DL.
Well, kind of getting into y'all's background, I want to kind of give the viewers a little information about how you started. So I'd like to start with Tom. Maybe what kind of inspired you to first pick up the guitar?
Well, the Beatles.
Okay.
Actually, originally I wanted to be Davy Jones from the Monkees.
Gosh.
On my 7th birthday, my parents gave me a tambourine. So
Interesting. Yeah.
So I played the tambourine first.
Okay.
But on my 9th birthday, I got a guitar, and they signed me up for guitar lessons, and it was a bit of a slog.
Mm-hmm.
It was a bit of a chore
Sure.
to do Alfred's basic guitar method. But I learned to read.
Yeah.
So I'm 9
many
years old,
do.
10 years old, learning to read. When I was 13, I was still taking lessons. I was starting to get into it, and I was writing music literally on music paper. And my parents had gotten divorced, and I went to my dad's. He had one of those sad dad apartment, bachelor pads,
Sure.
just furniture, no paintings, just a TV and a sofa kind of thing. It was like depressing. And I went over there with my guitar, and I started playing him the song that I wrote. And I had the music in front of me, and I'm kind of reading, and it was kind of like, you wouldn't know this, but Funny Little Man by Seals and Crofts. But it was kind of a fingerstyle in D kind of thing.
Sure,
I think
sure.
it was probably, I can play it.
Absolutely.
It was something like,
Okay.
And I'd written it out on paper. That's trademarked, by the way. And my dad said, "You wrote that?" And my dad was a drummer in college. And I said, "Yeah." And I said, "Yeah, I wrote it." And he goes, "No, I mean, you wrote that music on paper?" And he was blown away by that.
Wow.
And for a young boy, having your dad give you an affirmation like that kind of sets your course at that point.
Wow.
And it was at that point that I just like really poured into guitar.
Sure.
And I started getting into Zeppelin and then more deeply into the Beatles. And then when I was 15, I got a subscription to Guitar Player magazine. And every month there was an article at the back called Studio Log by Tommy Tedesco.
The best.
Who was the part of the Wrecking Crew. And it had a little picture of a session like chart. And I went, I got my guitar out and I said, I can play that. And I was like, wow, that sounds like a job for me, because it was like $100 for 3 hours. Minimum wage at the time was like $2.50.
Sure, yeah.
I mean, $2.50. So that was the thing that kind of made a kid from Indiana think about Los Angeles. And then pretty much everything I did, anything I could do that would get me there.
Okay, gotcha. Where are you from initially?
Indiana.
Indiana, gotcha.
Yeah,
okay,
yeah.
so goal to get to LA. I love that.
Goal. And boy, when I came out, right after I turned 21, I flew out here and stayed with some not friends, but friends of friends in Riverside.
Sure.
And I had a rent-a-car, and I drove every day to like Santa Monica, and I went to all these clubs that don't exist anymore. There was a place called At My Place in Santa Monica. There was Dante's on Lancashire. Baked Potato, which is still there. I went there.
Of course, classic.
And I mean, I fell in love with California. I went to Guitar Center, in Hollywood.
Sure.
In the palm trees on Sunset, and you're like, when you're a boy from Indiana, it's like, forget about it. It's over.
Doesn't get much better than that.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Yeah. This would have been 83. That was 82, actually.
Yeah.
And then 6 months later, I moved out.
Yeah. Wow. What a story, man. That's pretty incredible. So, Alex, did your dad kind of inspire you to start picking up guitar? Is that your story? So similar with father, son? Yeah.
Yeah, it was just like, it was always around. My crib was in his studio, and I just heard guitar. And my story is super different in that I don't remember a time when I didn't know how to play guitar.
Oh, it's just always been part of it.
It was just like, I had a guitar I was playing by the time I was 5. So it was like, I don't really have a ton of memories where I was like struggling to learn this thing. It was just like, no, I just know how to play, which is what makes me a terrible teacher. Because I'm just like, I don't know how I learned it. I was 5. That was years ago.
Figure it out, yeah.
Yeah, just figure it out. Don't you just know how to do it?
Yeah.
But yeah, so I started doing that, grew up playing in church, because he always played in church, so it was like, and then going, and I was homeschooled, so I would get up at 6 a.m., get all my schoolwork done by noon, because I had a little book, I knew what I needed to do, got it all done, and then I would either play guitar, or I would go with him to sessions. I'd help him load the car, I'd help him tune guitars, change strings.
Wow. So you were witnessing these sessions before you've been playing them?
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh yeah, so I was in sessions at like 10, 11, 12, 13, all the way through high school. I would just follow you.
As soon as you could, you set up a studio in your bedroom.
Yeah, as soon as I had a computer and an interface, I was recording.
So what age did you start doing them yourself?
Doing sessions myself? Probably around 16 or 17. I started like my first early sessions.
Wow.
Obviously didn't pick up for a couple years after that, where it's like, okay, now I'm actually working.
You're doing it, yeah.
I've done some early preliminary kind of like, that's a session.
Wow. That's incredible.
So, pretty fun.
So I know you guys mentioned influences. I know you both said the Beatles, but who else had like a massive influence on y'all's playing?
Well, it's funny because I've been meaning to do a YouTube video about this, and like I said, the kind of the obvious ones, the Zeppelin. I didn't really get into Hendrix until later.
Okay.
I was really into Yes and kind of like prog rock.
Sure.
In the 70s. And then I kind of started to become a little bit of a jazz snob. And then also with the whole focus on moving to LA, I started listening to LA session musicians. So I would go to record stores. In fact, I had a job in Indianapolis at a record store where they hired me to come in at 8 o'clock after I was done teaching lessons at the store I was working at. And I would be there from 8 to 10 because they had a girl working there and they didn't want her to be alone.
Okay.
And so he just gave me an album in an hour.
Oh, that's awesome.
Which, again, minimum wage is like $2.50 and records are like $5 an hour. The funny thing is I always felt bad. I always felt like I was ripping them off if I took a $5 record. So I always just perused the cutout bins.
Sure.
And those were like 99 cents. So most of my most of my record collection is from that year that I did that.
That's so cool, man.
And I would be reading credits. So I would just look at album credits, and if Lee Ritenour was on it, Larry Carlton was on it, Jay Graydon was on it, Robin Ford, if any of them were on that record, I would buy it. It could be the worst record in the world, but if those guys were on it, it didn't matter.
Those were the guys.
Yeah.
That's incredible.
And so that was a huge influence on me. But also some of the guitar players, like my teachers that I took lessons from, there's a teacher named Scott Ballantyne, phenomenal guitar player. He taught me a lot of stuff. And then I ended up teaching at the store that he owned. Okay. So he hired me to be a teacher there after he taught me everything he knew.
Yeah.
And then another guy named John Dinwiddie who dated my sister, and he was a really good guitar player and had a very unique style, like a unique phrasing that was like the first time I ever knew anyone personally that had their own sound. It was like the first time I ever met someone that actually had their own sound.
Yeah.
And I actually bought my first Les Paul from him.
Oh, interesting.
Like a 70s Les Paul that I got from him.
Still have it?
No. It was a fretless Wonder. I don't know if you know what those are, but
No, I've never heard of that.
it was
It's just the like classic mid 70s Gibson like New Orleans era.
Okay.
Where they had just notoriously low frets. They were just tiny little frets.
Interesting.
So
Yeah.
you couldn't bend it.
couldn't bend it. It was
The
buzzy.
string would go under
your
your string would go under your finger.
nightmare.
It was a nightmare.
Yeah.
Cool looking though.
Yeah.
That was a beautiful guitar.
Yeah.
I actually traded that, I think, for a G&L
Okay, gotcha.
because
Something
I
more
needed a
functioning.
Strat. Yeah.
It actually worked. What about you, Alex? Any session players come to mind or artists that really defined your playing?
Well, I was always into the kind of minimal guys, the minimalist, particularly Americana guys.
Okay.
People like John Leventhal, Buddy
So good.
Miller,
Yeah.
T-Bone Burnett. I was really into those guys. The guys that could play like two notes, and you're like, those are the perfect two notes.
Wow.
Like I didn't care. I kind of determined early on that I was never going to be a super fast player. It
Sure.
was never my thing, but I could play with feeling, and that was like, okay, I want to
Target
get
that.
this.
Yeah.
Get feeling and emotion and groove and all that, and get that dialed. Because I'm never going to blow anyone away with my shredding. That's just never gonna happen.
And I think sometimes less is so. Actually, I think all the time less is more.
Yeah.
All the time.
Yeah.
And people, I mean, if you look at John Mayer, for example, one of the most legendary guitarists who can do so much with, compared to someone like Yngwie Malmsteen, right? It's incredible, but they're just completely different, right? They evoke different emotions. So it's always good to be aware of that. I love that, man.
Serve the song.
They serve the song. Session players take notes. Serve the song right there. So how have you guys individually, how have you guys seen the session world kind of evolve over the years? Because I know you started at a different time period than you did, but how has it changed for you? Obviously, at-home studio, like you mentioned, but...
Yes. Yeah. The at-home studio thing is a big change. So it used to be if you were going to be a studio musician, you had to play well with others, as they say. But today, it's not like that. You're basically going to be a loner. So it was a very collaborative industry when I moved here, and has since become more of a much more solitary thing. I do 95% of my studio work I do alone at home, which I don't really mind because I have 100 some odd instruments, and if I go, it might sound really cool on this is this electric sitar, so I can go in my closet, pull that out, and lay it down, and then the artist or the producer or the composer will go, wow, that was a great idea. So I have my, and now I've worked with guys like Dean Parks, and they'll have these trunks full of guitars that get delivered to the sessions. I mean, these giant trunks the size of the sofa, they'll have 5 of them. And they open them up and they're just case after case after case. But those are guitars that get sent back to the storage facility and they never play,
never get played.
Yeah, they don't really get played unless they, get used in the session.
Yeah.
But a lot of older players will say, man, it's not like it used to be, and that's a bad thing. I say that as a good thing because really it took my career 25 years to take off.
Wow.
Yeah, I wasn't doing session work for 25 years.
And you still kept
I do a
going,
$50 session every month or something. But it was mostly playing at churches and teaching guitar lessons. It kind of kept the doors open.
Sure. Yeah.
And so it was about, it's been almost a little less than 20 years ago that it started to actually I started to figure out how to work in the business, which helped him because some of those things he learned from me, like how to make money in the business or how the business works.
Sure.
But for me, a lot of it was just the business changed.
Yeah. So when 20 years ago,
to my favor.
Yeah, was that at home for you? Was that when you started doing it at home 20 years ago, you'd say?
Yeah,
Gotcha.
about 20 years ago, I started doing session work at home.
And that's when it kind of worked.
It started to work out.
Yeah.
And I think I just recently saw that the first video game session I ever did was in 2005, I think.
Wow.
And so now I work for 3 or 4 of the top composers in the business.
If you don't know, Tom is one of the most incredible video game guitarists. Yeah, you play on pretty much every video game.
A lot of things.
Which is crazy, man.
Most of them I don't even know what they are because when I'm working on them, they're called Project Q or something.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's Star Wars. I'm like,
and
oh, really?
Yeah. You hear the theme and you're like, I think I've heard that before.
Yeah, exactly.
Crazy, man. How about you? How has it changed since when you started, 16, 17 to like now? I mean.
Yeah, it was interesting because when I started, it was a lot of just like doing sessions with friends. That's kind of what it was. It's like you found your musical friends and you're recording your band, you're recording this, and pretty early on I determined that you need to be able to record at home.
Mm-hmm.
So I got an interface, I got an Apogee Duet and started doing that. And then eventually that was just like, I started buying gear and upgrading and need a ribbon mic and I need this kind of mic. Then I built a pretty nice home studio and I would say 70% of my work there.
Okay.
But yeah, it really hasn't changed all that much for me.
Okay.
The more I do, the more I end up going out, actually. I feel like people want me to come to them, which I'm fine with. I always tell them, hey, it's better if you come here because I have, like you said, you have everything there. Yeah, you know? Exactly. Yeah. I'm not going to take my pedal steel most of the time, unless it's specifically requested.
Exactly.
But if they're like, you know, it would be really nice, a pedal steel.
I got to go back home.
I got to go back home. Hold on. So just nice. I have all that stuff laid out, always around, always plugged in and ready to go so that I can just kind of track that thing. So I always tell people, just come over and I can plug their computer in. I can give them whatever they need. And it just works out. That's been the kind of nice situation.
Oh, I love it. So let's I want to get a little bit into y'all's technique because you guys have so many similarities, but you're also very different players, which I really respect and like, because I think that actually makes you guys sound really, really good together. So coming back to Tom, because I know you studied classical, right?
I did. So in college.
Yeah. Talk about classical jazz. Like what really kind of developed your technical ability on the instrument the most, would you say?
Right. I mean, there wasn't YouTube when I was coming up, so that I had a lot of books. I would buy books and transcriptions, and one of the things I did was, and I couldn't really afford a lot of stuff, but there was a book called the Parker Omni Book, which was Charlie Parker solos. And so I had the records, but I didn't want to buy the book, so I just started transcribing Charlie Parker solos.
Doesn't hurt.
And I called it the Parker Tomney book instead of the Parker Omni book.
Love that.
And I still have it. And that was huge for kind of developing my ear and developing a sensibility that wasn't coming from guitar. I would oftentimes transcribe non-guitar players to try to implement that into my playing. Which oftentimes is difficult because things that are maybe easy on one instrument are very difficult to figure on the guitar.
It's not pentatonic usually.
It almost always is.
I
mean, classical pieces are like that. I mean, so many great classical pieces were written for organ or whatever and transcribed by Segovia.
Exactly.
Fugues and things like that. And it's like, oh, thank God he did that because I wouldn't have been able to do it.
It's not easy.
But and a lot of my technique came from wanting to be, I really wanted to be fast. Like Al Di Meola was a big player when I was kind of coming up and like he could play really fast. And I'm like, oh, I want to do that. So I kind of developed some speed chops. I'm not even sure how. Like my technique, I didn't really think about it so much as just do it.
Sure,
So, and now my technique is different for I think you were watching me play earlier. Oh, the guitar's over there. Probably a good thing. But sometimes when I'm doing right hand finger style stuff, I play classical style with my wrist bent.
Show us. We want to see.
So like the
very classical. If you notice his right hand especially.
But then sometimes if I'm doing like you'd collapse your wrist if you're going to do kind of more
different
of a
sound.
And it gives you a different sound too. So every time, if I have a jar of 500 different picks.
Oh wow!
Because I'll never know which pick is going to sound the best for the genre or for the moment. And so so my technique is always evolving, even today. I'm learning new stuff all the time.
I love that. Alex, what about you? I mean, I know you mentioned you kind of grew up just figuring it out, but did any certain genre or any specific person really influence your technique, or?
I mean,
beside your dad?
Well, yeah, right. Yeah, exactly. So I'm like,
I tried.
I remember I have a very funny memory with him because he's incredibly impressive as a guitar player, and I'm not an impressive guitar player.
True, but
I'm a good guitar player. But I remember him pulling up, this is really early YouTube. I couldn't have been more than 12 or 13.
Okay.
Right? And he pulls up this YouTube video and is playing it for me in his office, and he's like, see this? This is like a 10-year-old girl and she's shredding Van Halen. And I was like, in that moment, I was like, that's never going to be me. I don't even want to do that. Like, I don't care. It doesn't sound
Where is she now?
Yeah, exactly. Who knows? It's probably Orianthi or something.
He's probably killing it,
Touring the world.
But I was just kind of like, early on, I was like, that's not my thing. That's not what I'm going to be good at.
Right.
So I grew up. I had this little like record, or not a record player, a CD player that was shaped like a little alien head.
Nice.
And I would just go into his office. He had all his CDs on a shelf on the wall, and I would go in and disturb his home studio, and he'd be like, "What are you doing in here?" I'm like, "I'm getting a CD." He's like, "Okay, come on, grab whatever." So I'd go in and like, he'd be like, "Did you bring back the other one?" I was like, "Yeah," and I put back the old CD in alphabetical order, and I grab the new CD that I wanted, and I go back to my bedroom and I put it on and I play along with it until I learned it, and then I take it back. And so I was literally just learning, memorizing all these, classic Radiohead records, Coldplay records, Led Zeppelin records, Earth, Wind, and Fire, Earth, Wind, and Fire records, whatever he had, because he had so much diversity of like genres that I was just like, I gotta just start picking records. And I would always ask him, hey, what should I listen to? What should I learn? And so he'd give me something, and I'd take it and I'd learn it. And then in college, I started to do the classical thing.
Okay.
I did 3 semesters of classical guitar, and my professor loved me, and he was like, I want you to do the full thing. I want you to just go full time.
Yeah, do it all.
And I was like, he was like, you should sell all of your electric guitars and buy like one really nice classical. And I was like, I don't think that's for me,
Couldn't follow that.
I decided, I was like, no, I really like guitar. I really like the tone of electric guitar. I really like I was a big pedal nerd and amp nerd.
Yeah, I couldn't do one genre. I'd be too bored. I love every day's different.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what I love about session work. But yeah, I kind of did that. And was like, that's not for me. Mm-hmm. Jazz was always like beautiful, amazing. I love it. I love playing it, but I'm not a jazz player. I'm never going to claim to be a jazz player.
It's a whole other world, right?
I'm not even a country player. I'm kind of like an Americana and pop player that can do rock and all.
Exactly. Yeah. As a session player, you kind of need to be flexible and like tap into these worlds, but I feel like you don't have to like fully emerge into them.
No, no one really needs you to be able to like proficiently play jazz 90% of the time.
He plays, anytime I hear a track that he's worked on, I'm always impressed. He plays like a producer, and really, as a session player, all sessions are different. If I'm working on a movie, often it's just read the notes. Video games, it depends on who I'm working on. Every composer is different, so I work differently with everybody. But when you're working on records, you're either trying to create something that's memorable and kind of is a hook, or something that jumps out and helps to sell the record, or something that stays out of the way and really supports the singer. And he just, it's not, I don't want to say it's a natural talent. I think he really works hard to find that thing. And every time it's different. It's not like he's just recycling his own playing, which so many guys did in the 70s and 80s. They kind of had one thing that they did, and they just showed up at every session and did that. And I try not to do that. I try to approach every record differently. Which is part of the reason why I like different tunings, because it makes me takes me out of my
that's always fun too.
Comfort zone.
When he doesn't say no to like producers, particularly in the like composer world. He doesn't say no to these people, which is hilarious. They'll write something, because these guys are all keyboard players, right?
Yeah, of course.
And so they'll write something that's completely unplayable. Like unplayable. And I'll walk in and grab a guitar in the studio, and it'll be in this like insane tuning. I'm like, what's with the tuning? It's like, well, they sent me something that was unplayable, so I made it playable.
Okay. Well, I don't know if you remember this, but I had him play a note on the guitar for me, because I could, like, it was a low note. I couldn't play on the chord. So would you hold that F while I,
I've done that in the studio multiple times. Have a buddy just like pressing the low, like F, because you can't play it and you're doing something up there.
I should have gotten him credit for that.
Pianists, please take notes to learn how to write for the guitar, please. It's unbelievable. So how do you guys go about, obviously at a session, a lot of the time they just want you to be a regular guitar player, right? But then how do you go about, also maybe implementing your own sound or your own style or your own like unique voice as an artist into like these records or sessions? There's got to be a line between that, right? How do you kind of navigate that? If you have any about that.
I would say like when someone plays me something, I just listen the first time. I kind of just take it all in. I'm like, okay, cool. I'm listening for vibes. Like what is
guitar,
it? What does it remind me of? What does it take me to? What does it want? What do I think it wants to be? And then I'm kind of mentally, while that's happening, flipping through my like mental Rolodex of like what guitar players do I listen to that have stuff like that. I'm like, okay, kind of like this, kind of like that, and I'm kind of just pulling different pieces and like, that kind of a thing would be really nice. Kind of a Fleetwood Mac-y thing would be good on this one, or kind of a Beatles-y thing. Like they want a George Harrison kind of guitar solo in
this. A lot of times all you're getting is a guitar and a voice too. So you're building the whole track.
He's got to hear it in his head.
You got to fill it all in. He'll play bass on tracks. And, You've done keys on stuff too, right?
Oh yeah, I play keys on everything, drums.
Yeah.
Wow. What about you, Tom? Any kind of how do you approach a track, with implementing your own sound, but also keeping, serving the song and being a quote-unquote regular
every
player?
session is different. Every producer works differently. When I worked with Skrillex, we were just in his studio and he's just tracking me playing ideas, and he goes, okay, now play something different. And he's recording everything.
Wow.
And I'm sitting there kind of going, am I going to get credit for this? Is he going to just, because he's known for sampling and chopping things up and messing them up and everything. I got a call or an email from a record company and said, hey, Sonny's his name. Sonny put something on you're playing on it. We want to make sure that 25% is okay. I'm like, yeah, 25% is great. And so, and then they sent me money too, which was great. But so he remembered from that session, and it was inconsequential, the guitar part. I mean, I listened to the track and I was like going, I don't think that's worth 25%, but I'm not going to argue. But it was for an artist named Young Lean, which most people don't know. He's a kind of a white Swedish mumble rapper. And had you ever heard of him before?
Oh yeah, I liked him.
But all the people in the industry know who he is.
Interesting.
Like when I mention his name, it's like really impressive, and I'm like, really? Oh, cool.
Yeah, fun.
He's the artist's artist.
Yeah, that's one of those kind of things. And he's a mumble rapper, so you can't understand what he's saying. Kind of like how I'm talking right now.
Yeah, that's so interesting, man. Oh my gosh. So I'd like for you to grab your guitar, actually, if you can, for both of you. What is like one thing that you've played on every session? Like, what is something that you play on, it just comes out and you're playing, or like you've just done it a million times? Like a session guitar. For anyone wondering, it's like, what should I learn if I'm a session guitar player? Like, what's kind of that?
Yeah, that's a great question. I'm always swapping in chords where I shouldn't. Ought to be. For sure.
Yes.
Like I'm taking stuff and I'm going like, most of the time these songs are kind of like G, E minor, C, G kind of
cowboy
stuff.
Chords,
Cowboy chords. So you're like, how can I make that slightly more interesting while still kind of retaining what they want? So I'll do like got that 7 in there, and then I do that for E minor a lot.
Okay.
That's a Sean Colvin record, John Leventhal.
Okay. Yeah.
I use that a lot.
The G. Yeah.
So I'll do that a lot. Do you ever be with that A in there? So you get that.
So switching up those common cowboy chords and adding a little bit of something else.
A little bit.
But not too much.
But you can't add too much. You don't want to do like a full major 7 chord or something. You want to add a little spice.
That's this R&B record, right? Yeah.
Exactly, yeah. And I've done some of those where it's like, okay, they want the spicy chords and they love them. But I try to keep it like, how can I take their chords and make them sound more like a complete idea and not just like strummed cowboy chords.
Sure. Yeah. Add something to it. What about you, Tom?
Well, for pop records, I mean, I don't do a lot of necessarily pop or even record sessions. Usually the pop stuff I do, it starts with me.
Okay.
So I'm writing an idea and sending it to usually the producer, or they'll request something. They'll say, hey, can you send us some vibes like this or whatever? And so it's kind of originating with me. So for me, it's a completely blank slate. And so usually what it entails is me, it could be on acoustic or electric. A lot of times I'll capo up high because it sounds pretty. And so that captures, it doesn't sound necessarily big boom, like you said, guitar or cowboy chords.
Sure.
So if you capo at the 4th or maybe the 5th fret, you can kind of get this little bit chimier sound and a little bit sweeter tone. I just kind of, I don't care what music I play. It's got to be beautiful. It could be heavy metal. It should still have an element of beauty to it, whatever that means, however that would be approached in that genre. But I will noodle and I'll just have the recorder going. And so I'll either get a really, like if I'm going to mess around with electric and try to write something, I'll get a tone that inspires me, that I really like, a guitar that feels good to play. But more important than the guitar, I'm kind of known for using $99 Squires, right?
Okay.
So it's less important the guitar and more the tone that's coming out of the speakers.
Absolutely.
And then maybe if I'm doing a pop thing or an R&B thing, I'll put a beat in, not a click. I'll do a beat to play to. And that gives me a little bit more inspiration. And then I'll just track and just go for, I could go for 45 minutes before I stumble on something that's to me, unique.
Yeah.
I think part of the thing that I bring to the producers that I work with and the artists that I work with is that I have a long history of playing music. I played disco in the 70s. I had a disco band in high school.
Yeah.
So I'll play something and go, no, that's been done before. No, that's been done. No. Okay, now this is different, and I've not heard this before. I've not played this before. So usually anything I'm doing for a pop record is coming from trying to be as original as possible.
Nice.
And then inspire myself. And if I like it, then there's a good chance that they will like it.
Okay. Wow.
So.
That's amazing. Well, I love all these answers. And I kind of want to get now a little bit into your gear, because as studio musicians, gear is essential, right? Especially when you're doing everything at home. So can you kind of walk us each through what you're recording through? Like, what is kind of the day-to-day setup for, I know, we can do drums, guitar, bass, but like typical day-to-day if you were to play guitar, for example.
Yeah, so my main electric that I always use is my Williams Dantana. It's a telly that's built like an old Dan Electro, so it's a redwood core.
Interesting. I'll see a picture of that later.
Yeah, it's great with like the kitchen countertop. It's
nice.
Hilarious. The thing's awesome, but it sounds great. It's super light. It's really, really fun to play. Then I run that into my pedal board. I've got stuff on there. I got a Walrus Audio 385. I've got a Carolina Haymaker. I've got Sparkle, the Voodoo Lab Sparkle Drive. Strymon Timeline, the Eventide H9, the Hologram, whatever, Microcosm, a bunch of stuff. The Walrus M1, which is their modulation thing. Okay. So it's kind of got everything on it, and it all runs in stereo.
Sure. Okay, nice.
Then for amps, I have a Wolf Electric Instruments.
Okay.
Kind of think like an overpowered deluxe. It's kind of like a, deluxe reverb style amp, but 40 watts instead of 25.
Oh, interesting.
So it's super powerful, super clean, and it works great on pedal steel because I do a lot of that. But I mean, like I said, every day is different. I have Les Pauls and 335 and, Firebird and, Strat and everything you could possibly want I have around.
Sure. How many guitars do you have?
30 plus? Yeah, I think it's 30
plus.
30 plus?
Now. Okay.
And then other instruments like pedal steel and mandolin and banjo.
You gotta
and
have it all. Like I was saying, right, guys? Anything guitar shaped, right? You have to play. They're like, can you play this? And you're like,
yeah.
But what about you, Tom? What is your kind of day-to-day? I know we talked about,
Yeah, my main acoustic is always out is my Martin D35, which was kind of a mutt. I got it at Guitar Center really cheap. I actually got it because I didn't have a Martin, and I'd done a session where the engineer was being a little bit of a jerk to me.
Okay.
Because I was the unknown. Everybody else was a famous session guy, and I was the unknown, and I was playing acoustic. And my friend was the producer, and he's still my best friend, but he didn't kind of jump in and defend me. Although I don't know what was happening behind the glass.
Sure.
But and we'll call this engineer Derek. Okay. So, and I pulled out. The first guitar I pulled out was my Gibson Duff.
Okay.
And I'm playing that, and we're getting ready to track this. It was like an 11-page medley of songs. And he says, that guitar's kind of bright. Do you have anything darker? And I had a Loudon and a Taylor, and I knew both of those were brighter than that guitar.
Yeah.
So I'm like,
it's not going to work.
Yeah, sure. And so I pulled out I knew the Loudon was the brightest, and I pulled out the Taylor, and it was brighter. And he goes, no, that's even brighter. Do you have something else on it? And I went and got my Loud, and I felt like this tall, and ultimately he says, I'll make it work. Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
And that just makes you feel horrible.
Yeah,
so literally the next day I went shopping for a Martin. I said, I need to have a Martin, because a Martin, I feel like a Gibson sounds like a Gibson, a Taylor sounds like a Gibson, but a Martin sounds like a guitar. I don't know what it
Quote
is.
that, guys. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know what it is. It's like something about, and I have two Gibsons, and they're very different. All my acoustics sound very different from each other. Like I don't know why people have 4 Gibsons that,
Sure.
like
Sound
J,
similar.
whatever, J, what's the big J one?
J45.
Yeah, J45. Like, why would you have 5 J45s? Make any sense? But, this Martin, I grabbed it off the shelf. It was hanging on at Guitar Center. It had been a righty and then turned into a lefty and then turned back into a righty. So it was just like the pick guard was falling off. The saddle was all jacked up. It had cracks all over everything. But it was only $1,100, and I went, hey. I picked it up, and it spoke to me.
Yeah.
Kind of like when I picked up this guitar.
It's
it immediately, that's immediately I have a relationship with the instrument, and at the store there's been 3 times I didn't buy the guitar, and the guitar was telling me to buy it, and I didn't buy it.
You remember that? Yeah.
And I'll never forget all 3 of those guitars. There's 4 actually. The Collins. Remember the Collins?
Oh,
and we went back the same day to go buy it, and it was gone.
Shoot.
Same day. And that's the same story with all 4 of those guitars.
Wow.
I played them at the store. I got home and I went, you know what? I can't afford it, but I should buy that guitar.
Yeah.
One of the cases I could afford it. It was I should have bought it at the time, but it was just like I didn't. And I went back the same day and it was gone within hours. So this Martin spoke to me, and it's always out. It's been on so many records and so many things. And then I will get other acoustics out. Electric wise, it just depends on what I'm working on. I've got a G&L that I like a lot, Legacy Special. So it's like a strap, but it's got humbuckers, kind of hot rails, and it's got a really nice whammy bar, so I can do dives and things like that if I need to do that. I that Squier, the $99 Squier that I've used on a lot of stuff. If I need something really percolating and bright and kind of nasally or annoying, I'll pull that out. If I need something to really cut through the mix, that guitar does a good job. To be honest, I'm almost all in the box. So I'm running Logic. I've got I used to do Duet, but now I'm using RME interface. And I go through a volume pedal. I go through just a compressor. What's the compressor I use? It's a bass compressor.
It's I can see it.
I can't remember, but very little compression.
Sure.
Just takes a little, and I'm going in for the electric. I'm going to an API.
Okay.
For acoustic, I'm going into a 1073.
Yep.
And then I'm going into Logic. Going to Logic, and then I like. I'm always looking for sounds, and the beauty. The thing I love about being in the box is that I can come up with a sound and I can save it, and it'll be the same when I open it up next day. Nothing's changed. I didn't have to change the mic position. Like, oh shoot, what mic did I use on that? It's just all there. And I'm mostly doing TV, film, and games. And so when you're doing that, that music is heard once usually and never again. So records, I'm more likely to use an amp on a record. I'm more likely to definitely take my time and dial in tones and spend time on a record, because it's going to be listened to hundreds of times by the same person, potentially.
Yeah. No, totally. I feel like each one of those record, or even each one of those sessions could serve a different purpose. Yeah,
100%, every one. So for plugins, for amps, I actually just upgraded the new Logic, and I haven't checked out the new amps. I'm going to check them out because they're probably pretty good. Because they've done a lot. The update was, I think, a 10-year lag. So there's so much new stuff in Logic. The new pianos are amazing. But I really like I like Guitar Rig.
Yeah.
And it comes with native instruments, but I don't think, I think it's a separate company. There's a company in France that I met at NAMM show, guy named Blue Cat Audio.
Okay.
Really good. The Scuffrum amps, those are probably the most realistic ones I've heard. And that was something that came with, I bought a bunch of UA stuff or something, and it kind of came in. It was one of those plugins, guitar amps. And then you like Amplitube. So I got Amplitube, and I've got a couple amps dialed in on that thing that are go-tos.
Sure.
Just like the hard thing is the slightly crunchy sounds, the really gainy sounds and the really clean sounds are a piece of cake. The ones that are hard to get, that are easier to get with a real amp, are it's just that slight breakup.
A little bit of breakup,
where it doesn't sound like it's digital.
Exactly.
So for me, that's
definitely.
And that's why I use real amps.
Exactly.
I can't get that tone for the most part. That mid gain is 90% of the stuff I do, because I'm doing a lot of country Americana records. And it's I just want a real amp and a real drive. Honestly, I have a little projector amp, and that's what I use a lot because it gains up nicely on its own. And I have a little amp closet with mics and stuff, and I just let that thing rip, and it sounds great.
So do you all ever share gear between sessions, or is it strictly?
Oh yeah. What have we shared?
I have your 78 Strat that I've had forever.
Well, he has a lot of my stuff.
I have his.
I don't have any of his stuff.
He has my 66 Black Panel Bandmaster, but he doesn't really use amps, so it just kind of sits there and collects dust.
Oh yeah, you just brought that over. That's right. I haven't had a chance to use that yet. I mean, I kind of had the dream of kind of collecting amp heads. I mean, when I moved here in '83, I had no right in thinking that I could compete with the guys that I want, with Lukather and all these people, because I had no gear. I'd spent all my money that I made in Indiana before moving here. I just saved it.
Okay.
Because I felt like I needed seed capital. So I had like $10,000 that I'd saved up teaching guitar lessons and doing gigs and stuff before I moved here, which would be about $35,000 today, which would keep me going for maybe a year. And that's kind of what I was thinking. I need a year or two to get it going. And so, I didn't show up with the best gear.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. So, and then I had no capability of doing anything remote, So there was no home studios.
Yeah.
So that's part of the reason why it was kind of a slow. But if I'd spent all that money on gear, I would have had to turn around and come home in 6 months.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Wow.
So it was a trade-off. It was
That's how it works, man. The session world is no joke. Man, so,
Decisions.
as music being both y'all's careers, how do you kind of keep the creative aspects when, your day-to-day, your 9 to 5, for example, is playing guitar, your 9 to 5 is producing? How do you keep that creative kind of childlike love for it in play? Is there any rituals you have or anything you do that really just keeps that?
For me, it's learning new things.
Yeah.
I got really into the Hawaiian lap steel.
Okay.
And thusly the pedal steel, but specifically Hawaiian stuff. I got obsessed with the Hawaiian
He does. He gets obsessed and gets really good at something. He kind of masters
do that.
it.
Lock in.
He focuses.
And I get really mediocre at it, but enough that I can play it on records,
Well, you only have to fool 99% of the people.
Exactly. Yeah. It's really easy to fool them,
Yeah.
They're all morons, the little people.
But you said you kind of same thing. Learning
exact
new stuff.
same thing. Yeah, I always think, I wish I had 1,000 lifetimes, because I would love to spend one lifetime just doing flamenco guitar. Because really the only way you can really be a good flamenco guitar player is pretty much move to Spain and have someone sit across from you for 5 years and teach you everything. It's an oral tradition essentially. And same thing with gypsy jazz. I would love to be able to just shred on the gypsy stuff.
Sure.
So I'm kind of a master of all, jack of all, master of none, as they say.
Sure.
And that's fine because I'm very ADD. And so it kind of serves that. One of the things, I'm working on a record right now that's kind of utilizing some of the gypsy jazz stuff. And I'll work on, it's my record or my tracks. And so I'll work on stuff, I'll work on things that I want to work, that I need work on. So it kind of forces me to kind of practice and learn and develop some skills and really the skills are not so hard. It's almost more the melodic senses.
Okay.
Like the way a flamenco player thinks versus how a gypsy jazz player thinks versus how an oud player thinks. I would love to spend a lifetime learning oud. I love the oud. It's the most freaking amazing instrument. And I get to play it every now and then in some pretty hard situations. And it just always fascinates me. And I'm like, man, I wish I was so much better. And then I discover there are all these other Middle Eastern instruments, like the saz, and I've got an Arabic bouzouki, a Greek bouzouki, and an Irish bouzouki, and they're all completely different.
Wow.
And they're all tuned different. And that's one of the things I do too. I leave everything in the traditional tunings, which makes for a challenge on sight reading a little bit.
Yeah.
But about 5 minutes in, I'm back there. If I play mandolin for 2 or 3 days, then it's hard to play guitar and read on guitar. I'm like, wait, we're not in fifths. So, and I also feel like at my age, I feel like it's something that's going to stave off Alzheimer's, just because I'm having to use my brain all the time. Yeah.
I think the best guitarists are the lifelong learners. The ones who are never I'm good. I know my thing. The ones who are always willing to learn more and learn from other people, because there's always someone who's better than you at something.
Oh yeah.
Because the guitar is a wide, vast.
You go to the Guitar Center and there's some 13-year-old kid shredding.
Yeah, it's I can't.
What's he doing? It's getting insecure.
Where'd you get that?
Yeah.
Just this crazy lick. Yeah. Oh my gosh. No, I love it, man. So with that all being said, guys, I think it's time that we go actually into the collection and find a few guitars that you like, and then we can kind of play them here and talk about them and go from there. So let's go do that.
Let's do it.
All right, guys. So welcome to the B&T Collection household.
Thank you.
We're actually very familiar with this collection, but we're super excited to show you guys the Martin Wall as well.
I've played many of these guitars. I think this one is a personal favorite. I love the parlor size.
What about the parlor size really strikes you?
They're fun. They're couch guitars to me. That's when I write, I like to have a parlor around because it's just easy to play. It sits comfortably. not like trying to get my arm over a dread.
Sure.
Not that I'm not large, but there's just something comfy.
Martin
like
makes great parlors too. It's not like a lower quality instrument either.
And the slot heads, I think, give it that little extra bit of like punch and volume that you generally lack from a smaller body. So it's kind of a nice
Some of these
balance.
designs, each one of these guitars really tells a story, and they're all unique too, even though they're all Martins, which is so cool.
I love all the Perloid stuff too. That's always Martin does that really, really well.
Sure. The Flame Myrtle too.
Yep.
We were mentioning this on
that's
camera.
nice.
What an incredible design on this
Yeah,
instrument.
I've only seen that on that guitar.
Yeah,
right?
I've
Like
literally never seen.
I've never seen anyone burst the sides like that.
exactly.
Like to do a burst on the sides must be without getting the top and then scraping the binding. I get that's probably
51 of 100 too. So
that's cool. Yeah, a lot of these are cool.
Hops and barley too. Oh
I love the hops and barley. Again, it's just like it's just nice. Everything about it is just perfect. It's really pretty.
So as y'all know, this is only just a tiny segment of the collection.
Right.
So we
Yeah.
have the major portion over here. I'm really excited to show you. So this, I think some of the best guitars from our collection are in the humidifier right here.
Incredible. Yeah.
So
As they should be.
As they should be, taken care of. If you guys want to open it up, see if
Okay.
you like any of them as well.
Let's see.
We're pretty much just letting these guys take whatever they want today.
Ooh, right off the bat, big froggy bottom. These guys are sweet. This is Dave Matthews, right?
Oh, yeah. Oh, so loud, man. So loud.
Kind of dark, a little
Yeah.
good.
But still has
Softer.
like a tone to it.
Yeah, plenty of mid-range. Okay, that's nice. Another froggy bottom.
It's always fun putting these guitars back because it's like, oh my gosh.
It's nerve-wracking.
Nerve-wracking.
Yeah. I love look at the color on the back and sides. Look at that.
Yeah, this is like.
What is this?
Flamed.
Oh, it's a Martin.
Yeah.
Arts and Crafts.
Arts and Crafts, yeah. We had this in the previous podcast.
Love the tuners. Tuners are beautiful.
That's great. That's really,
I've
really
never
nice.
seen a flamed side like this before.
Right? Is it? Yeah, that's crazy. That's really, really pretty. I love
What kind of wood is it? Do you know? Wow.
Some kind of.
It's a tiger stripe.
I know, with this like green wood in the middle with the inlay.
Yeah, the
is
inlay
really
pretty,
gorgeous.
And then the little touches.
Some kind of white spruce. That's what
I like the Martin logo, the old school Martin logo. I like
on
the
the back.
headstock
Open
too.
back shallow tuners too are a really nice touch. It's just super, and I like that they're kind of like a burnished brass color. They're not like
Vintagey,
super,
like
yeah.
the vintage look. Yeah.
They're kind of worn in, which is a nice contrast. Get that in there.
Yeah.
Huss and Dalton.
One of my favorite companies. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Another good sounding parlor right
Oh man, I'm going with this. I like immediately.
Look at the back.
Yeah, right. Gorgeous. I love the brightness and the openness of this little guy.
Yeah.
Well, you know, at the NAMM show, I always go to the Huss and Dalton
Yeah.
booth, and I'll sit there and play them for an hour. Yeah. And that's at the NAMM show. If you can hear a guitar sounding good at the NAMM show,
Yeah, then you know
if it sounds good there, it sounds good.
everywhere. Yeah, I'm gonna go with this guy. This thing is super sweet.
Let's see what we got.
Tom, why don't you give it a look?
We got a cutaway here. What's this? Oh, the loud. Oh, the fan.
Loud in the fan front.
Yeah, I have a loud. I have an F22, which I love.
It's a fan fret F50, right?
Yeah, mine's not a fan fret.
That one is though. Yeah.
What
That's
the
Was
heck
that a
is this?
Petros?
Petros guitar. So
I've never heard of Petros.
Yeah.
Oh, it's a Bible verse there. Matthew 5:44. What's the verse? Anybody know?
I don't know.
Matthew 5:44.
Wow. It sounds a lot bigger than it looks.
Right, but it is really deep. Look how deep it is.
Yeah, it's super deep.
And look at those tuners.
Goodness.
Yeah, that's
One
nice.
of the most unique guitars in the collection.
Definitely. It was here, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, see. Notice how I put it in there without banging it, unlike Alex? Because now I'm going to bang one, so.
No, we know you guys are careful.
Do you know what this one
Let me
is?
see. Turn it around first.
Oh.
There you go.
There you go.
Knock on wood.
Yeah.
Looks like a froggy bottom.
Froggy bottom. Yeah.
Oh, another frog. Okay.
There's 3 of those in there. I think.
Froggy
4.
bottom. Yeah, I remember these at the NAMM show too.
I love the shape of
Wow,
this
they're very
part.
soft.
It's interesting.
That's like a velvet. This would record very well.
Oh totally.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's smooth. I don't know. That's a top
Contender.
Oh, see, here's what happened. I got this twisted.
It's like playing a
Yes.
surgeon, that game.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah. Operation.
Operation, there you go.
Yeah. For dopey doctors.
Exactly.
Is the commercial. All right. What is? Oh, McPherson. All right. Let's check out the McPherson.
That's the most treacherous position to get anything out of.
That's
right
the
there.
Nashville session guitar player. That's heavy.
Yeah, I remember that one being heavy. I played.
So,
that
and I
before.
think, the reason this thing was created was just to make it easier to mic. You know,
one direction.
yeah, but you know,
That's a different sound.
a
though.
totally different sound.
Not bad.
That
anyway, this
G
is-
string, kind of jumps out.
Also, kind of a big body on that thing. Surprisingly
is.
deep and wide at the lower bow.
I've seen some, I think, McPherson's that have sound holes up here as well,
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
because you can hear it better.
Definitely. A lot of modern classicals have the samples up there as well.
Yeah, I think that makes a lot of sense, especially if you're in a kind of a loud environment. You want to be able to hear
I
yourself.
do wonder if that changes this overall sound coming out of the front, though.
Well, and you know what's interesting is when I buy acoustics, I almost always take someone with me
Yeah.
That's a
that
good
can
idea.
play,
Yeah.
so that I can hear the instrument from in
Stand
front
back.
of the instrument.
Sure. That's what the audience is hearing.
Yeah, and what the mic's hearing.
Exactly.
So, because I'm mostly using it with mics, so yeah, that's interesting.
great.
But that's the Nashville studio musician standard.
Go
Love
to.
it. Yeah.
The side of this looks fascinating.
It's incredible.
I think now this is a Santa Cruz. Wow, super light,
Yeah.
interesting
Oh my God.
body shape. Look
Yeah,
at
design.
the beautiful on the
Is it
fretboard.
Is it a 12th fret or is it a 14th?
No, it's
13.
13 fret,
13
which
fret.
is
So it's a
interesting.
So interesting.
little bit, yeah, it's not, it looks like a 12 fret body almost.
Yeah, I like that already.
Yeah. Wow.
It sounds lo-fi, but not.
Lo-fi or not, I love that.
I'll take this one. This is going to be
One
my
of the Christmas guitars.
this is going to be my gun for the night.
I like it. We both have a soft spot for slot heads apparently.
Oh, look at that! What do
Got
you?
this Loudon fan fret. This is one of my favorite guitars in the
Yeah,
collection.
I've seen you play that
I
before.
always come to this, so we'll take these back in the studio and get ripping.
Let's
All
do
right,
it.
let's do it.
Sounds good.
Excellent.
Always fun walking with thousands of dollars of instruments.
What was I doing? I was doing
This is like
something
4
the
times
other
more
day.
expensive than my first car.
Oh, I was helping the church out,
Okay.
and they were doing something for their summer camp, and they were doing like a recreation of a very famous music video for this summer camp video, and they were gonna do it just with whatever instruments. I was like, I have most of those instruments that are in that video. Let's
use
I'll
those.
bring the real ones.
Yeah.
And I'm like handing them to these like camp leaders who are like, they've never played an instrument in their life, and I'm like handing them. One of the guys was like, "How much in instruments is this?" And I was like, "This is probably about 20 grand in instruments."
At
And they were like,
least Oh my
It's
gosh.
fine, you're
Yeah,
good.
no, it's crazy. So guys, tell us about what you picked. These are some of the guitars from the B&T collection that Tom and Alex found. Tell us about it.
Talk
Do you
about
know
it.
anything about it? Yeah.
I don't know anything about it. It's a Santa Cruz.
Yeah.
I always see the Santa Cruz logo, and I always think it says Saga, which is a cheap, like Chinese company, right, or something. I think. I'm not sure where Saga is from. Maybe a European country. Company. I don't know.
but get a shot
Santa
at
Cruz
that
Guitar
back,
Company. It
yeah.
says it's an H13. I mean, the way the guitars were displayed in the case, this is what I saw.
Yeah, show the camera that. That's
Yeah.
the back of that is incredible.
That is what I saw, and I just was like, "What the hey is that?" So it's just a beautiful, like this tiger stripe or something, and then it's a slot head. It's actually interesting because it's not a 12th fret and it's not a 14th fret. It's a 13th fret.
The 13th fret is literally at the neck.
Yeah.
the
So that's
body
when
where
they
the
say a
body
12th
meets.
fret, they means
Yeah.
the body and then joins the neck at the 12th fret. But this is 13. Normally, most guitars are 14, and then anytime you have a
12.
slot head, it's almost always a 12.
Yeah.
And I have a 1924 Martin slot head
Mm-hmm.
that's 12th fret, right? And I really like it. The nice thing is it's a comfortable guitar to play.
Sure.
especially in this kind of context.
Sure.
I mean, I like my Martin is my main guitar, and that's a dreadnought, and it's big, and I can play it soft and get a nice tone out of it, and I could dig in, pull the mic away, and get a big sound out of it too. But this thing, like, I immediately picked it up, and it was like, it's super light first off, which is almost always a good sign,
especially with acoustics.
Yeah. And so, and then it, for a smaller guitar, it had a nice bottom end. I think the depth is a little bit deeper than normal.
Definitely,
yeah, that's definitely
especially on that lower bow.
Yeah.
So it feels a little bit big, but, and then the action, I know that Bob Taylor, I know Bob, and I know his thing is he likes to start with a neck. He says, it's got to be playable. And if you're fighting a guitar, it's going to sound like you're fighting. You're never going to make a guitar that you're fighting with sound beautiful.
Sure.
And so this guitar, even though it's the fret's a little bit bigger, almost classical feeling. Give me that tuner. Where's the tuner? Yeah, it's definitely got personality. When I'm on the hunt for acoustic guitars now, well, pretty much always. My first acoustic I didn't get till I was 30, and it was the Gibson Dove that I still have.
Yeah.
And at the time, the only reason I was buying it was because I thought it was for cowboys. Acoustic guitars are for cowboys. I was a classical guitar player and I was a jazz player.
Okay, yeah.
And so I'm like, steel string. Who needs a steel string? And I was leading worship my wife and I were leading worship in our Sunday school class, and it was a big Sunday school class. It was 50 couples. So it was a big room with 100 people in it, and they didn't have a PA system. So I'm like, I need a guitar that's loud. So I went around to all the stores in LA and I kept playing, just picked up acoustic and banged it.
Yeah.
And the Dove was by far the loudest guitar.
Yeah.
And I got lucky because I really didn't know what a good guitar sounded like.
Sure. Just use your ear. Yeah.
Yeah. And then I felt like I needed another guitar about, was it 7 years later, I think. I finally got around to getting my second acoustic.
Nice.
And I found this, the Loudon F22, and it was brassy. It had a real brassy sound, so different from the Dove. And I was like, okay, this is a cool thing. And then what was crazy is I got a job teaching clinics for Maranatha Music, and Taylor was one of the sponsors. So literally the week after I finally got around to my second acoustic, Taylor called me and said, what guitar do you want? You can have any one in the collection.
Oh, wow.
And so they sent me, I said, I didn't know anything about Taylor guitars. And they said, well, the other two guitar players, there were three teams. The other two all got 814s. And I said, send me one of those.
Yeah.
And so it just came in a box.
Yeah.
It was like, what? And I always like going to the NAMM show, when I had no money. And you got all these famous guitar players getting free stuff. And I'm like, they should be giving the free stuff to the poor guitar players, not the rich ones.
We can't afford it.
Yeah. So, but yeah, it was pretty cool. So within a week, I had 3 guitars. I went from 2 to 3 really nice acoustics.
Nice, man.
And the Taylor was very different than the Loudon and very different than the Gibson.
Yeah.
And those are the ones that I took to that session that the engineer was like, you have any darker guitars?
Yeah.
So now I have quite a few acoustics.
Sure.
But yeah.
Man.
But yeah, this is just...
Sounds great, yeah.
I mean, for me, it's got to, I have guitars that I use for picking, and I have guitars that I can use for strumming, and I have guitars I can use for hard pick. Like one of the things I really love using these Wiegand heavy picks for melodies. I like picking closer to the fretboard.
Sure.
It's just warmer sound.
Dolce sound, yeah.
And so, this has a very nice balance.
Yeah.
If I go through all the strings, one string is popping out. So that's nice. And then strumming, I'm not going to bang on this, but
yeah. It's got a very direct sound. Yeah. No, I love it.
And that's with a hard pick. And then Yeah, it's like I said, it feels a little bit wider than like my Martin, but narrower than a classical. So if I were to use this, I would have to play it for about 30 minutes. If I were really getting ready to record something that was real important, I would want to kind of, if I'm just playing a melody on a TV show, I'll pick it up and play it.
Yeah.
But if I'm going to record a track, an album, or a song for me or whatever, I'm going to have to kind of get it under my fingers so it feels like home.
Exactly. Yeah.
But this is, and the fretboard is really cool looking too. It's a beautiful guitar. I don't think I could ever afford this instrument.
Well, that's why it's in the B&T collection, right?
Exactly.
Tell me about your guitar.
This is crazy.
I grabbed immediately, I was like kind of grabbing through guitars, and as soon as I picked this thing up,
it's a Husson Dalton right here.
It is a Husson Dalton.
It has a crazy story, right?
It was just super open sounding, but it's the Monticello guitar. So the house that Thomas Jefferson lived in, there were trees outside of his bedroom window, and it, I think, fell naturally.
Yep.
And then they took it and used part of that tree to build parts of this guitar. I think it's the back and sides is what it looks like from the photos. It comes with a whole book talking about like how the tree fell and where it was and how long it had been there. And then they turned it into this, and they have photos of the process of them taking it, chopping it up, planing it, turning it into a guitar, and you get this really cool, just up here, it kind of scallops out, and you have this like, it looks like it's probably burned in.
Sure.
But it's got, Monticello in the head.
Laser etched maybe, or...
Yeah, Thomas Jefferson.
Yeah.
Such a cool story.
He signed it?
Really cool. Yeah, Thomas Jefferson's signature.
He signed it himself, guys.
That was the real trick.
That was the hardest part. But it's...
I love this too.
It's gorgeous. The lightwood fretboard is really nice.
Tuners too are beautiful.
Yeah, and the thing, like I said, the thing that first kind of caught it wasn't my eye. I kind of just tried to listen. I'm like, that was like immediately. I loved that. I love the way when I hear a guitar, I try to think about how it's going to sit in a record.
Yeah. Oh, interesting.
Not like, because some guitars sound really good, but I can tell they're going to take up too much space, too much low end, too much high end, too much mid.
Or they might have too much personality.
Yeah, exactly. Where it's like, okay, you got to stay out of the way of the singer.
Yeah,
support the song. Yeah. So you got to find a guitar. And immediately, I kind of always love that F chord, and I just go there, and I'm like.
Super balanced, also very balanced guitar.
It's one of the perfect sounding parlor guitars out there. There's not many. Wow.
Well, you can bring out melody notes too, which is nice. If you can play a chord and then hit one string harder than the other. That's one of the things that I learned in classical guitar. That when I was having to practice that stuff, it was driving me crazy. My teacher would drive me crazy.
Like your A finger, right? Yeah.
It was like the Giuliani arpeggios where you're like, okay, now only accent the third finger on third beat. And I'm like, why? Why am I doing this? And now I realize it's like, because I can.
Yeah. What are the people listening, right? If you want to hear.
Yeah, you can pull out one note, and it's like, and that's. Yeah, and like with classical music, where's the melody? The melody's going all over the place. It's not on the top note necessarily. It's going to be anywhere.
Baseline, it's all of it.
You need to be able to pull out the melody.
Yeah. So I grabbed this Loudon, just quick shot of this too. This is just a fan fret. I've played this a million times.
Is it an F40 or F50?
This is F50.
F50 with the fan fret?
With the fan fret. So this is no joke. There's something about a fan fret that just feels so good. Because I'm not used to it, and I feel like it's a little challenging.
I always love the way this looks too when they do the little like comfort carve on the front.
Oh my gosh, for guitar players, man, when it's too sharp, at least I've noticed it can. Exactly. Especially if your arm's not around it and you're down here, like I just feel it in my hands. There's actually a nerve that can start getting damaged with that too, which is really, really scary.
Yeah.
I think it's the ulnar nerve is what it's called.
Yeah.
Your pinky and your third finger can start to get weak. So anytime there's this nice shape, it's always great. But
totally beneficial.
We all in tune? You guys want to play?
Like it? Let's do it.
One of you guys. I liked your chord progression doing with the F.
It's really nice.
So yeah, only 3 chords, but man, that was beautiful.
Yeah, it's like
That's all you need. Wow, guys. So final question for y'all. We always like to end the B&T podcast with one question, and it is, if you could make an impact with your music globally, what would that be? What do you hope to, either inspire or make like an actual impact? What is your kind of goal with all of this, because all of us little humans on earth are just kind of figuring out what we're doing, but what is your kind of end goal with what you're doing with your music?
that's a great question.
Yeah, it's my end goal is to finish strong, it is just a job. It's not who I am as a person, right?
Yeah.
So I mean, and people say, "Oh man, you're so lucky you get to play guitar for a living." And yeah, I really am. I mean, we count our blessings just working with him every weekend at church. I don't take that for granted ever because it's going to end at some point.
Wow.
But using the gifts that God gave us for His glory is always there and has always been there. Leading someone to Jesus with a guitar is kind of not necessarily something you can do. I've just been happy to be able to feed my family with the instrument.
Yeah.
Again, it's my job, and I hope that I do my job to God's glory, and also that I'm generous, and that I'm kind, and that I have a good reputation ultimately. So that will live on in some way, but ultimately it's just a job. It's not who I am.
Yeah.
So
I love that.
those are 2 different goals, and so as a job, my goal is I don't know that I can even say I want to keep getting better, but I do.
Yeah.
I feel like that's almost impossible at my age, but I just love, and if I ever retired, I would probably spend 8 hours a day practicing, because I just love practicing.
Yeah.
Practicing to me is so much fun. Learning, like at the end of the day, being able to do something I couldn't do yesterday,
It's the coolest feeling ever.
Nothing better than that.
Yeah.
And that's hard in so many things. Like tennis, that's not going to happen. In golf, that's not going to happen. It's just like, ugh. But on guitar, I feel like I can kind of break new ground. So,
Absolutely.
So for me, that's great. But So what my end goal is, it's just to be a good person and have people like what I do. And the work is the affirmation that I'm good at what I do. One of the reasons I'm in Los Angeles is because I get to work with the best musicians in the world. Like if you're the best bass player in Moscow, you come to LA. If you're the best drummer in Paris, you come to LA.
Yeah.
Just always been the case. It's still the case.
Yep.
I literally run in 20 different circles and nobody knows each other. I got K-pop people and J-pop people and Latin pop people, and I've got American pop, and I've got the gamers. They don't know the TV people, and the TV people don't know the movie people. It's just like, and I work for all of them in so many circles. And a town like Nashville or Miami or New York, it's not quite like that.
Sure.
You almost have to specialize in those towns.
Exactly. Yeah.
And so I have the luxury of being able to do something different every day. And that really serves me well.
Absolutely.
Does that answer your question?
That does. Absolutely, man.
Okay.
That's exactly
I wasn't sure.
What about you, Alex?
I think the simple answer, I guess simple, is just we're doing it to glorify God. At the end of the day, like no matter what I'm doing,
that's exactly right.
If it's a pop record, if it's a rock record, if it's a metal record, I don't care what I'm doing. I'm just going to do it the best I can, because I think God wants us to do beautiful things, no matter whether or not it's a Christian record or it's a pop record or it's a rock record. He doesn't, I think it's just make beautiful things. And in that, just trying to do something that people like and maybe people will remember. And honestly, the best impact I could have would be to write a song so simple that every 13-year-old kid wants to learn it. That's like the dream. That's right Back in Black.
Exactly.
Something that every
simple,
kid learns.
Yeah. 4 notes, like nothing crazy.
Walk This Way. Black Dog. All these classic. Smoke on the Water. Write a riff that's so iconic that every 13-year-old has to learn it.
John Mayer's had a couple of those.
He's had a couple. Yeah.
That's probably one of the more recent ones.
It's possible still.
Yeah,
right?
it is
even though there's
possible.
so much music in the world, it's still possible.
Oh yeah,
Wow.
it's still possible.
Wow.
Something that lights the fire under a kid.
Yeah, exactly.
It's that first riff you played. I mean, first lesson I teach with people, and I would have I could have a 70-year-old guy taking her a 7-year-old, and it was almost always
nice
Peter Gunn.
Yep.
And it serves so many different purposes. One thing, it's a song, so they leave the lesson knowing one song.
Yeah.
And the other thing is it works all 4 fingers.
Yeah.
Right? And then I also would write it in tab, so I teach them tab, but I would also write in music notation with all the ledger lines.
So, yeah.
With all the ledger lines, and they'd be like, wow, what's that? It's like
3
hieroglyphics.
ledger lines? Yeah.
And I'm like, well, watch that and watch your hands. And they're like, wait a minute, I can read music. It's just a few notes, but they kind of... So all of that lights several different fires. And that can, that can have me have a student for years.
You just build off of that,
you get
man.
them, I haven't taught in 15 years. I just on my YouTube channel. But
Sure.
But I taught for 35. I taught privately for 35 years.
Well, you're only as good as your student, right? That's the thing. I've a quote I've always heard, man. It's like if you can teach well and you're a good teacher, then that reflects how you are as a player, right? It's crazy. So maybe not the case for you, right? But
right now, certainly not. That explains why I'm a terrible player.
No, stop. Hey guys, well, thank you so much for both being here. We really appreciate you having you here on the BNT podcast and the Soundboard Sessions and the BNT Collection podcast. Y'all, next time you're listening to a record, a pop track, whatever, a gaming track, maybe to check the credits and it might be these guys playing on it. But we will see you next time, and thanks guys again for being here.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thanks,
all right, guys.
The James Bond card. I played it like this. However, then I realized it's actually this. It's so much easier that way.
That's crazy you play like that.
Yeah, because you have to skip the A string, so you have to do.
Yeah.
But this way you can go. But the E string with it doesn't sound right. That doesn't sound good. You have to stop on the F sharp.
Yeah. Sweet, guys. Thanks for tuning in.
Sorry.